Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to this new moon ceremony with me, Bethany Hadfield, quantum healing hypnosis practitioner and Reiki master, welcoming you to this new moon ceremony for the new moon in Gemini, happening the 26th of May 2025 for this new cycle, with the sun and the moon coming together to create this new cycle. So what we're going to talk about today is the energy of Gemini, and then a little bit more specifically about what this particular cycle for this new moon is energetically creating as a space or a structure of time and space. So welcome. So first of all, Gemini is the sign of the twins. So it is the two faces. So it is this sense of duality. It is the dark, the light, the masculine and the feminine. It is the mind. It is very fast-paced. It is quick and witty. And it is air. And so it is this ether. It is also very much about creativity, fun, playfulness, curiosity. It's ruled by Mercury, so it is mercurial in nature. So able to switch, again, from face to face, dark and light, and it switches from both to be able to see both sides. So it's this adaptability, it's this changeability, and it's shifting. It wants to move. So this is after we've had Taurus, which is incredibly heavy, grounding, solid, slow, steady. And now we've got this shift into Gemini, which is this intelligence and creative and playful energy. And it wants to look into things. So that's a little bit about the Gemini energy. It is as well about this, duality. So it's being able to see, progressing from Taurus, which is the heartbeat, into the two, which creates that toroidal field, the two sides. And so it's being able to balance between those two, being able to shift from side to side. And so it is also a lot about learning and teaching. It's this exchange. So it is as well about then the environment around us, how we exchange within this environment. It's communication. So it's how we speak, it's what we talk. And there is inner communication and outer communication. So it is about all of this play between what the self is and what the other, and the environment around us, which can also translate to our relationships, which can be with our environment around us, with people around us, and with ourselves as well, of course, always. So that's a little bit about what Gemini is about, generally speaking. And this particular new moon, it's very much about shifting. So there's been a lot of changes. It's being able to shift and change and morph and moving. And it doesn't necessarily mean in a physical sense, but shifting things within ourselves, because one of the bigger transits that we've just had right on this new moon, which is the beginning of a new cycle of our inner world, is this shift for Saturn, which is the ruler of karma. It is consequence. It is challenges, our restrictions, the things that are the hard lessons that restrict us but teach us how to grow. It's this maturing. And So shifting from the very last degrees of the end of the zodiac cycle, which is Pisces, into the very beginning of the zodiac, Aries, right on this new moon. So the Lord of darkness and restriction is shifting. The things that we learn the hard lessons from is shifting from the very end. So all of these endings of cycles and karma is ended in Pisces and moving into this new era, this big new phase of Aries for this new cycle as well, right on the Gemini new moon, which is all about thoughts, how we think, and which is what creates our reality. So it is shifting us into this new realm. Now this year in particular is about transformation, coming back home to center, to be able to be reborn into this new era. So we are literally going through the rebirth this year because it's the year of the snake, which is all about rebirth and transformation. Ending of old cycles, beginning again into a new version of ourselves. And so with that ending of old cycles in this new Gemini energy, which is coming in, is about bridging the gap, or bridging of two worlds. So this is the shift. So being able to integrate and calibrate the dark and the light, and bridging those together. So the old with the new, and to generate this new higher octave, this new higher level of ourselves. So embracing that change. And it's not always clean. Sometimes it's messy, the things that we have to resolve and work through, the traumas. And it is about this unification following separation. And this is the time that we're coming into, is more and more of this unification and this synchronization of the lower and the higher self. So merging these two worlds into one. And this is how we can connect to this bigger web of ourselves, and really coming into this higher alignment. And this can come out in many ways, but just paying attention and being aware of these shifts and changes that are going on. Because when we are aware, we give light to it. So it's about facing our shadows, which is this two faces. We have to be able to integrate both the dark and the light. And as well with Gemini, it is about seeing the bigger picture through the smaller pieces, because Gemini looks at all of the small pieces, it's the details, and the opposite, which is Sagittarius, is looking at this bigger picture. So it's being able to adapt to see both the small and the large at the same time, to be able to see this whole picture. And that is part of this integration, because we can get so swept up in our personal egoic lives, things that are happening, the dramas that are playing out, and there can be many, and we can get sort of sucked into believing that this is all real, and it feels very real. This is what we came here for, is to experience it as real. So it's being able to experience it as real, but also see from the outside this bigger picture, and how all of these patterns and cycles are actually all part of this much larger organism. And so this is to expand our awareness from just the details and everyday life the mundane, and open it up into this larger picture that is able to also see ahead and behind, and see these bigger mechanics of the moving parts. So that is what's this picture of what's going on for this Gemini. It is mostly about this bridging of the two worlds. It's this harmonization of all this rainbow bridge that we are. And so it is harmonizing these two away from separation and being able to come into unity with seeing our dark and our light and bringing this into a complete whole. And so really tuning in with that and see it as like a rainbow of light, all the way from the very black spectrum rainbow all the way up colors into white, and bridging all of those into unity, into the field, and imagining this. And it is very much about how becoming aware of how we speak to ourselves and how we speak to others as well, because it is about our thoughts. Where do we go with our mind? So paying attention to our thoughts and our words and how we speak to ourselves, because this is what creates reality. So just seeing that there are these shifts going on, noticing these shifts is also very helpful. So that's what this Gemini new cycle is about. There's a lot of change going on as well with the larger generational planets that are all as well shifting this year in this transformation year. Of course, this is all going to affect us because we are these planets in expression in this reality. It's all connected by thought. So that's what this shift is really all about. And we've come from this kind of an initiation through that Scorpio full moon, which it was a lot about endings. So this next full moon is the next Sagittarius, which is this expansion into the new, exploring, adventuring into this new territory. And that's seated in this Gemini new moon. So that's what we're shifting into, moving into after this Scorpio full moon, which brings up all of these questions about endings, cycles, and rebirth. Now we're being rebirthed also with that Saturn coming, ending the end of the very end of the cycle, going through Pisces, now moving into this new cycle of Aries. So it's all new beginnings, new karmic cycles. And this is where we get to choose, which is what Gemini is all about. This new way of being, which starts with our thoughts. So with that, I wish you a beautiful new cycle, choosing our highest path, doing this inner work, doing the shadow work, facing our fears, and being able to really manifest and see this bigger picture of the future. Getting ready for whatever adventures await for us. And they can be quite exciting, and have fun with that. Why not? What did we come here for? Did we come all this way not to have fun? So, to enjoy the experience as well. So with that, I wish you a beautiful new moon in Gemini, and I'll see you again in the next one.